Good evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. My name's Tonchi Prusak, and I'll be with you over the next hour or so because it is going to be a jam-packed episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show tonight. It's our 14th episode in 2024 and our first one for the winter. Can you believe it? Winter is here. The year's already flown by. And we're virtually at the halfway mark of the season. Well, tonight we've got, as we said, a jam-packed show. We've got lots and lots to get through. We've got Andy Paschalidis coming on the show tonight. Who's Andy Paschalidis, you may ask? Well, for fans of the old On The Ball from SBS, when the National Soccer League was around, he, along with Les Murray and Johnny Warren, the immortal Johnny Warren, made up the Three Amigos, or as they were known then. He's heavily involved with the Heartbeat of Football Foundation, a very, very important benevolent organisation that, in fact, is tonight up in Sydney at the Australia and China Women's International game. He was also at Western United and the Preston NPL game over the weekend, and was down here in Geelong at the North Geelong Langwarrin game on Saturday with an activation whereby, well, lots and lots of people were tested for their blood pressure, their blood cholesterol levels, and also their blood sugar levels as well. So an important thing that they do, Heartbeat of Football, and Andy Paschalidis is the founder, and he's got a long-standing relationship with the Geelong community, and we'll hear from Andy a little bit later on in the show. Recently, it was the National Volunteer Week, and as part of the National Volunteer Week, one of the clubs from the Geelong region was actually invited by Football Australia to represent the sport at a Volunteering Australia webinar, and that club was North Geelong Warriors and their Operations Manager COURTNEY VODOPIC, who will be on the show presenting a short, it's about a 10-minute segment that was presented on the webinar, and it is absolutely fantastic knowledge for anyone who deals with volunteers at any of their clubs. And they basically overhauled their entire volunteer management system. And tonight we'll get an insight into how North Geelong Warriors do it down at Alco Park. Speaking of North Geelong Warriors, SONNY BRIMMER is a 17-year-old superstar, and he's only a teenager, and he's already in the last 2 weeks been the match winner for the North Geelong Warriors. On the weekend, he scored the only goal of the game against Langwarrin. Last week, he scored 2 goals in the Warriors' 2-1 win over Brunswick City. Tonight, we have an exclusive interview with the youngster, and he talks immediately after Saturday's game. We also speak with the president of the Lara United Football Club, Paul Grisbeck. Later this month, in a couple of weeks' time, in fact, Lara United will be celebrating its 25th anniversary. Congratulations to everyone at Lara United. Ahead of that milestone, well, we'll be speaking to Paul later tonight, and he'll be telling us all about what awaits members, supporters, past players and committee members on June the 22nd, which is a Saturday. That is the day that Lara United will be celebrating its 25th anniversary. But prior to that, we've got the news desk, and in the news desk, find out about a local school that is doing very, very well in its football competition. Folks, don't go away. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show, proudly brought to you by our major season sponsor, the Gordon.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Time for the news desk, and a big shout out to the king of Paco himself, Santino Mamone, who's very active in the chat section. Please, folks, be active in the chat section. Drop us a comment, throw in a question for one of our guests tonight, or just what's on your mind. How did your team go over the weekend? Would love to hear from you. Speaking of the king, next week's King's birthday weekend, we will still be coming out on Monday night. There's still a lot of football happening over the weekend. As we do each week, let's start off with our Media Watch segment. And let's first of all have a look at what is happening in the media. This week it was just really the Geelong Advertiser. And it was last Friday. Tough journey, Chapman set to fly with the Eagles. Story there on young Angus Chapman, who after 2 knee reconstructions and has come back to Australia after a brief stint in the UK, is back playing local football, and he made his comeback appearance with Corio on the weekend just gone by. In Saturday's edition, proud moment for the Geelong Juniors, and it spoke about the presentation, the Guernsey presentation that was held last night at the Katsumata Centre at the Cardinia International College, ahead of the country championships that are happening a little bit later on this month. In fact, they will be happening next week. In today's Geelong Advertiser, North Geelong team nets match winner against Langwarrin. North Geelong scored 1 goal to beat Langwarrin 0 on Saturday in a thrilling Victorian Premier League 1 encounter. The star of the show undoubtedly was the 17-year-old substitute, SONNY BRIMMER, who has now scored 4 goals in the last 3 matches. So well done to Sonny. Also in the K-Rock news, round ball rolling to Mildura for juniors. It was in today's K-Rock online and as well as also on the radio. It covered the weekend presentation, the Guernsey presentation that was held by the Geelong Region Football Committee. And it said a big long weekend awaits some of the region's most talented juniors. More than 100 junior soccer players from Geelong will be heading to Mildura this weekend for the annual country championships. Speaking to K-Rock News, Mike McKinstry, the chairman of the Geelong Region Football Committee, said there will be 7 teams heading to the event. These are the best kids in our community leagues, McKinstry said. We had well over 300 kids put their hands up for the opportunity to head to these country championships, and we are really excited for this group of players. McKinstry says the number of locals participating is only continuing to grow in recent years. We've been really lucky as an organisation, he said. We've had more than 100 kids take part at every one of the championships, and those numbers are continuing to grow. We're really excited to see them play and hopefully have a lot of success as a region. Well done to everyone involved at Football Geelong, or Geelong Region Football Committee. And we did have last week, we had Tyler Stevenuta, who is, along with Craig Wright, responsible for managing and overseeing the representative team squads, coach selection, all of that, kits, suppliers, and all of that. So well done to everyone involved. Okay, let's move on to what happened over the weekend. As we mentioned, North Geelong Warriors defeated Langwarrin 1-0. SONNY BRIMMER scoring that goal. And next week, Bulleen Lions, who are in 6th position, host the Warriors, who will be looking to make it 3 consecutive wins. That game, 7 p.m, David Barrow Stadium on Saturday night. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday night, go for a trip down to Melbourne and take in some Saturday night soccer at David Barrow Stadium, home of Bulleen Lions. Over to the VPLW competition. In round 10, Geelong Galaxy hosted Southern United. 1-2 was the end result. Yamamoto scoring the only goal for Galaxy. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, as Southern United came away from Hume Reserve with all 3 points. Noble Hurricanes is the Geelong Galaxy's next opponent. They are currently in 11th spot, and they host our Galaxy girls next Sunday at Alex Nelson Reserve at 3 p.m. But back to the North Geelong Warriors game. The star of the show was young 17-year-old SONNY BRIMMER, and it's great to see, if nothing else, the young talent that is coming through the ranks here in Geelong really starting to come to the fore. After the game, I caught up with SONNY at Alco Park. Got a very, very happy SONNY BRIMMER score of the only goal of the game today. SONNY, mate, that's 4 goals in the last 3 games, including two last week. How does it feel, first of all, to get 3 points for the second week going, and you're responsible for it?
Yeah, I gotta say, it feels pretty good. Considering first half of the season, only getting like four points from 14 games, I think it's obviously sucks to be a part of that and not winning games, but give credit to the boys, because there's been some turnaround these last couple of games.
Now, it's a very young squad, mate.
Yeah.
You yourself, you're 17 years of age, is that right? Yeah. It can, consistency can fluctuate up and down, but in the last couple of weeks, you seem to have really settled down, seem to have really be consistent. And I guess the best 3 players today were all teenagers. What do you put down to that, just that a level of consistency and that settled style of football?
Probably just belief from Beggsy and Sean, especially after Joey leaving. Things can go up and down, but Beggsy and Sean, there's so much belief, gives us and the boys to just go ahead and do our best. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where to now? Next week's game, can you make it 3 in a row?
Of course you can.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. We'll let you get back to the celebrations.
Cheers. Thank you.
There we go. That was SONNY BRIMMER straight after the game. Congratulations to the young chap. But 4 goals in 3 games, and that's been the Warriors' biggest problem, scoring goals, and they seem to have found their solution. Well done. Let's move along now to the State League and the State League men's competition. And first of all, State League 1, Spasojevic and Tesfaye scored for Corio, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. They, however, did come back from Ralph Reserve with 1 point. That's 1 point better than Geelong, who unfortunately came away from Brimbank Stallions game from the Brimbank Stallions game at Club Italia in Brimbank, empty-handed, courtesy of a 0-3 loss. Geelong Rangers, James Alexander scored a brace for the home side, but the Whittlesea Rangers came away with a 4-2 win there. In State League 4, a couple of big losses for our local sides. Bell Park, 0-3 at the hands of West Point. Barwon, 0-5 at the hands of Balmoral. There's some turbulence certainly there at Grovedale Reserve, but there is a big announcement coming later this week, I'm led to believe. Stay tuned for that, a big announcement that may well turn the club around, or the club's season around. Surf Coast, on the other hand, are going from strength to strength at the top of the competition, courtesy of goals by John Pikett and Alex Kaynor. They recorded a 2-0 win over Melbourne City and maintained their 5-point gap at the top of the State League 4 standings over second-placed Geelong Wolves. In State League 5, Deakin Darks, a big win over third-place Gisborne, 5-2. Alex Millwood scored 2. Dull, Wyeth and Colimbi all scored 1 apiece. Lara United defeated Spring Hills 3-0. Josh Kuiper scored a goal, but he also received a red card, and he won't be in action in Lara's next game. Tristan McGrath scored a double, and he maintains his lead at the goal on top of the Golden Boot leaders tally in Division 5. Ocean Grove also came away with a win from Ballarat's Tricado Park. Favetta and Ryan scoring for the visitors from Ocean Grove. Let's look at this week's fixtures over the King's birthday holiday, long weekend. In State League 1, well, it's a tough game for Geelong. They travel to top side Whittlesea United at Gilwell Park, or Mosaic Reserve as some people would know. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Yarraville in 11th position, second last position. They host Corio, who are 9th. A must-win game for the Eagles, a game they really need to win if they want to distance themselves from the relegation zone. Another Saturday night encounter, this one at McIver Reserve, kicking off at 6:30 p.m. A game that Geelong Rangers must win at all costs. In State League 2, this Friday night at Grange Reserve in Hoppers Crossing, the battle of the two British clubs, the British Derby as it is known, kicks off at 8:30 p.m. at Grange Reserve. Hoppers Crossing bottom take on second bottom Geelong Rangers. A draw would not be good enough for Rangers. A loss certainly does not come into the equation. A win at all costs for the boys in blue. In State League 4, Bell Park have got a very tough encounter. They're in second last position at the moment. They come up against second place Keilor Wolves at Green Gully Reserve. Kick off there at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Surf Coast host third placed Melton Phoenix. This could be a tough game at Banyule Warrior Reserve Saturday night at 5 p.m. And then Barwon host West Side Strikers, who are 3 positions above it on the competition standings. That game at Grovedale Reserve kicks off at 5:15. As we said, stay tuned. There's some big news coming out of Barwon Soccer Club, Grovedale Reserve, later this week. State League 5 action sees Tarney United, who are 11th position, hosting Ocean Grove in 9th position. That game's at Hummingbird Boulevard Reserve at 3 p.m. Wyndham hosting our Deakin Ducks at Wyndham Vale North Reserve, and Lara United has the bye. And if we finally have a look at the State League Women's before we take a little bit of a break, in State League 1 action, Brunswick Zebras came up against the North Geelong Warriors. They hosted the Warriors, and it was a 4-2 win to the Warriors. Fierro scoring 2, Juric 1, and Kump 1. So North Geelong Warriors move to 6th position on the ladder. They will be taking on third place Craigieburn City at Aston Fields this Sunday at 3 p.m. In State League 2, Geelong Rangers came up against one of the title favourites, Sydenham Park, and went down 1-4. Next week, round 8 sees the Maribyrnong Swifts, who are in 7th position, hosting our Rangers, who are in 6th. That game will be held at Johnson Reserve, kicking off at 1 p.m. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, we'll be looking at the local leagues. We'll also be looking at a local school that is doing very, very well in its school sport division competition. And we'll also focus on some other things that are happening around the traps. As the first solar tube skylight installer in Victoria, Scotsco Skylighting has nearly 30 years of experience and offers a variety of services including custom-made skylights, high-quality Velux skylights, and a variety of solar tube daylighting systems. The benefits of having the skylight in your home are many. They let natural light into your space, and with that light comes solar heat, improving your mood and even helping with performance in workplaces. Plus, heating your home with sunlight can save on heating costs during the chilly seasons. Cosmetic changes like skylights can add equity into your home, and, similar to adding mirrors on the walls, skylights can make a room feel bigger and more spacious. It's about time you enjoyed all these benefits plus more. So what are you waiting for? To get a free daylight assessment and installation quote, call our founder and owner Adrian Begg on 0409 823 177 or visit our website at www.scotscoskylights.com.au. Scotsco Skylighting is proudly Geelong owned and operated. Okay, welcome back to part 2 of the news desk. Let's focus on what is happening in the local scene. So 3 rounds have been played in the Geelong Region Men's Division 1 competition. And the results from the weekend just gone by, Geelong Rangers hosted Geelong. Geelong came out 4-1 winners on Friday night at Myers Reserve. There were 3 games played on Sunday. Lara United thumped Breakwater Eagles 9-1. Bell Park defeated Armstrong United 1-0 at Armstrong Creek Sporting Oval. It was a grand final replay, and the All Whites, repeating what they did on grand final night when they defeated Armstrong United. And finally, Surf Coast defeated near neighbours in the Southern Derby, Barwon. They defeated them 2-1. So as you can see, Surf Coast at the moment on top, along with Bell Park, Armstrong United, Geelong and Lara United all have got 2 wins and 1 loss. We've got Rangers on 3 points and Barwon and Breakwater Eagles yet to open their account. This weekend on Friday night, we've got Geelong hosting Barwon at Stead Park under lights, and then on Sunday we've got Surf Coast at home to Armstrong United, Bell Park hosting bottom side Breakwater Eagles, Lara United at home to Geelong Rangers. On to the Women's Division 1 competition. We had Bell Park defeat Corio Bay 6-0. Deakin University defeated FC Leopold 3-0. Lara United hosted Surf Coast and Surf Coast won 1-0. And the Barn versus Ocean Grove game, we don't have a score for that. It supposedly was played on Saturday, but we don't know what that result is. So if anyone does know what the score of the Barwon women versus Ocean Groves women game was, do pop it in the chat section there for all to see. Round 4 fixtures this weekend. All these games are being played on Saturday. Surf Coast at home to Barwon. Deakin Ducks hosting Bell Park. That should be a good game, that one. The battle of the top 2. Corio Bay at home to Lara United in the big northern suburbs derby. And then Ocean Grove hosting FC Leopold. That's the last game of that particular fixture. We've already mentioned how Lara United will be celebrating their 25th anniversary. That's all happening on the 22nd of June, which is a Saturday. And it says here, please come along to support our teams that will be playing on this day. There will also be a range of activities for kids at Lara Recreation Reserve in Lara. State League men will be in action from 1 p.m. with the reserves taking on Ballarat SC, followed by the seniors at 3 p.m. And then the Division 1 will see the women, Lara United taking on Deakin Ducks. That game kicks off at 5:15 p.m. Now, we will hear a lot more about what is involved in the Lara United 25th birthday celebrations, the anniversary, when we speak to Paul Grisbeck, the president of Lara United Football Club, a little bit later on in the show. Now, St Joseph's College Geelong, well, they've done extraordinarily well in the ACC Division 1 Senior Football competition. They are the 2024 minor premiers. So the St Joseph's first 11 team finished on top of the table for the home and away season, taking out the minor premiership. What a fantastic effort that is. The semi-final will be played this Wednesday, so 5th of June at the Leisure Time Sports Precinct. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. and the school is encouraging family and friends to come along and support the team as they push for a senior double and St Joseph's College's first senior championship title and trophy since 2013. The opponents on the day will be St Bernard's in Geelong, and the coach of that particular team, I'm told, is Igor Serbinovsky, who was once upon a time the technical director at North Geelong Warriors. Speaking of North Geelong Warriors, the coach of the St Joseph's College team is former North Geelong Warriors president and technical director Josip Zilic, who is very, very confident that the team will be able to get past St Bernard's and then end up in the final, which is likely to be played the following week. So well done to St Joseph's College. And they've recently introduced the Liverpool Football Academy as part of their school curriculum. And so it's certainly another school in the Geelong region that is going great guns as far as football is concerned. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, it will be, first up, we're going to hear a little bit from the founding director, or the founder, if you like, from Heartbeat of Football, Andy Paschalidis. He'll be coming up straight after this short break. Andy Paschalidis from Heartbeat of Football, and he's here at Alco Park on Saturday during the North Geelong Warriors Lane Warren game. Andy, welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's been about a year since we had you on the program. A lot's been happening in the last year with Heartbeat of Football.
Yeah, I've been here, there and everywhere. I've been to Adelaide, Wollongong, La Hunter, Melbourne a couple of times. I was last year in Geelong, not for football actually. I was here testing a DHL office at Geelong and also at Tullamarine. It did give me the chance to pop in and see the Savinsky family. While I'm here this weekend, I'm staying at Hotel Savinsky in Lara.
Yeah.
And I always love catching up with that wonderful family, and you know the history of the Savinsky brothers.
That's right. You've got a long connection with the Geelong region, and I guess over the last, say, 12 months, last time being here, getting a lot of people tested and checked out, and we can see there in the background a lot of people being checked out as well.
It's been non-stop today. Yeah. It's been non-stop.
Let's talk about that, because we see here, and these days a lot of younger people as well seem to be getting heart issues, a lot of hidden heart issues. But Heartbeat of Football, for those that don't really know, what does Heartbeat of Football do?
Basically, we're a charity that was founded in 2016. I first sort of was impacted by cardiac arrests and heart attacks in football almost 10 years ago, 2014. My teammate dropped and we lost him. Over 35s, fittest guy on the team, 42 years of age. And then I needed to do something, and then another former teammate passed away on the pitch playing seniors football with Peter Catholis, the ex-Socceroo, and a few other players of that ilk. So I looked at it and I thought I need to do something, and I took 6 months off work in early 2016, and we launched in June. So we're coming up to our 8-year anniversary, and we're basically out there to advocate for defibrillators to be at every club around the country. That's worked in Victoria and New South Wales. between the two of them, they've rolled out close to 10 million in defibs from 2017 to now.
Wow.
Fantastic tick. This is a free heart health check. Wherever we go, free heart health check for blood sugar, cholesterol and blood pressure. Today's activation has been jointly funded by my charity and the North Geelong Warriors. The Secretary Mary reached out to me and we said, absolutely, we'd love to do it. And as a consequence, I did Brunswick City yesterday. I'm here at Geelong today, and tomorrow I'll be at Western United against Preston Lions. So for me, it's very important that the model is embraced. We check you for your blood sugar, cholesterol and blood pressure. We take a blood sample. It's a very simple test. It's all personal. It's like going to your GP. You get a report. You get the advice. All I pray is when people have a problem, make sure you follow through. And we've seen in the past that men have followed through, and some have had bypass heart surgery. The good news, we've had 5 footballers this year around Australia who've collapsed on the field and all been saved. By my calculations, that's 26 footballers in the last 32 incidents. So this is magnificent, but it's still 6 deaths too many. In some cases, no defibs were accessed. So you need defibs. The bottom line is, if someone has a cardiac arrest here today, we have a defibrillator. I've seen it. It's inside the club rooms. If he has a cardiac arrest, if that defib's not on that person quickly, the chance of survival is between 3 and 5%. You have a defib accessible and ready to go with CPR, up to 70-75% chance of survival. I know what I'd rather have.
Yeah. Mate, you've mentioned how North Geelong has invited you to come here. This is the second time, which is fantastic. Yeah. If a club here in the Geelong region or the wider Geelong region would like to get in touch with you, Andy, and do something similar, how can they go about doing that?
Absolutely. We welcome all requests. Just contact me. You can email me, andy@heartbeaterfootball.com.au, andy@heartbeaterfootball.com.au, or just go through Heartbeater Football website and you can see a portal on there that says a request, and put the request in. And we look at it. We map up our calendar. You know, we've got a Google Drive calendar. Like from our activation today, there's another one in Sydney, but that's been washed out halfway through. And we're actually doing the Combank Matildas game on Monday against China. And how good was that? Ante Milicic's first game in charge. That was massive.
And there was a Geelong connection there with Joe Diddlitz now being the goalkeeping coach there as well. Well, as the second half is underway almost here at Alco Park, we're going to end this interview, but we thank you, appreciate, Andy, everything that you do for the wider community and indeed the football community. And with the late Johnny Warren and Les Murray, you were known as the three football, the three amigos, SBS and the old National Soccer League days. So we really, really sincerely thank you for all that you do, Andy.
Thank you for having me, and to everyone out there, God bless you all, and please make sure you get yourself a checkup.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Speakers. So it's a dynamic duo. So I'm going to introduce Courtney and Dennis Vodopic. So whilst I'm doing your introduction, you may want to turn on your video and get yourselves ready while I'm doing your intro. So Courtney and Dennis are from North Geelong Warriors, and they are part of Football Australia's Club Game Changers programme. We've invited them to share their experiences today because they've done a lot of work on clarifying volunteer roles how to promote engagement. They've undertook an inventory of what needs to be done. So a lot of the time when we hear from sporting clubs is we need volunteers, but also we're not always sure what roles need filled. They've done some really innovative work on filling those roles, understanding what's needed to be done, and also how they've engaged multicultural communities to foster greater connection in their club as well. So Courtney and Dennis, I'm delighted to invite you to kick us off with your presentation. So feel free to unmute yourselves and share your screen and we can kick off.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Lindsay, and to everyone at the ASC and Volunteering Australia for having us. Katrina, are you able to share those slides for us?
Yep, just getting it up for you, Courtney, 1 minute.
Thank you. We've had a few last minute challenges, but we roll with them, which is fine. Look, I can start talking anyway. By way of introduction, the North Geelong Warriors are one of regional Victoria's largest soccer clubs, offering male and female competitions for under fives all the way through to masters across a mix of community and elite competition. We own our own facilities and carry a very heavy financial and time burden for the maintenance and upkeep, which isn't faced by a lot of other community clubs. So we do rely really heavily on skilled and unskilled volunteers, as well as casual and ongoing volunteers. Our community are able to fill most of our needs. We have a really well-established core within the club who are an extension of our founding families. Say that 3 times fast. We have grown from the garage of a couple of Croatian men getting together to kick around a soccer ball to a club of over 500 players across 40 teams. And really, we come from every background you can imagine. Given this, our club has a range of volunteering needs and opportunities and an equally large range of challenges to work through. And then if we move to the next one, having volunteered, this is a little snapshot of some of the work that we've done, having volunteered with North for a couple of years and being involved with other organisations as well. We had some ideas about ways that we could make volunteering better for the club and for our community. And late last year, we had the opportunity through Football Australia's Game Changer program to prioritise a review of our existing needs and processes. We found a lot of knowledge was being kept in people's heads. So as people moved on, we were losing the experience and having to constantly scramble to start again. Using Football Australia's volunteer recruitment plan as a starting point, Dennis, the spreadsheet master, was able to pull through with a very impressive spreadsheet that listed well over 100 definable volunteer roles he'd identified already existing within the club. Using this, we can filter, we can see which roles work with one another, we can look for knowledge and skills required, and we've also started looking at what barriers might prevent us from filling the roles with the right people at the right times. We can also use it to calculate the approximate number of hours worked in the club each season, and we can do a pre-season estimate of our off-pitch recruiting needs. We can do analyses of the skills and qualifications required or currently at the club. And ideally, it also means that if someone comes to us and says, oh, I want to help, what can I do? Or, you know, I'm not sure how I can help, just tell me what I need to do. We can have a look and see what's vacant, or we can say to them, well, what skills have you got, and see what's compatible. As was hopefully evident on the first slide, a lot of our community members have English as a second language. We've also got quite a few newly immigrated and refugee families who come through to us from local feeder schools. And this spreadsheet helps us to identify opportunities for people based on their preferences. So we know, for example, that sometimes people come to Australia with existing skills or qualifications, but due to visa or other restrictions, they can't work in those fields. We also know that there are other people looking to build job skills or gain confidence in conversational English. So with these sorts of things in mind, we can try and match the volunteers with the opportunities available. So simultaneously, we built a recruitment scaffold to support our decision-making and processes when it comes to recruitment and managing volunteers, which leads into the next slide. Embarking on this process has given us the motivation to stop and make time to assess how we do things in the volunteer management area. We've undertaken a number of changes to help us navigate our ongoing needs, and the club's likely to continue growing in the next few years. So as we get bigger, we're going to need more people, and we're going to have to get better at managing our volunteer needs ongoing. Some of the changes we've made are minor and probably wouldn't really be noticed by other people. We know that we have good offerings and the people in our community do too, but looking outside our community for growth, we have to prioritise our image to make sure that we're a more attractive option for people. It's a competitive market out there. So we've been professionalising our outward-facing comms, streamlining responses and messages, including coordinated branding on our documents and doing a weekly thank you post for people on our socials. They're quite small things. Some other things are a bit of a shake-up for our club. So from the old paper-based system, we've commenced recruiting through online volunteer job boards. We've joined LinkedIn to build our professional networking presence. And we're utilising Sign Up Genius for scheduling volunteers for match days and events. And that's not an endorsement, we're still paying for it. We've begun formalising PDs for roles that require a thorough recruitment process and have a dedicated HR email address. Our newsletters and introductory welcome sessions have unified messaging explaining that the football stops when the volunteers do. And we're working on processes to try and ensure that internal comms are maintained with our long-term and key and skilled volunteers to make sure that we aren't left in the lurch if they leave suddenly, and to make sure that we continue to manage those relationships well and they feel valued. So all of these changes have been made with consideration to some of the community barriers we've been able to identify, including communication, accessibility, inclusivity, and tech challenges. There's also competing priorities for families and job seekers, as well as the realistic turnover we know we're going to have in different roles that actually manage these volunteers and the processes related to that. So, taking into consideration some of the barriers people have reported, we're arranging a barista course for the community through our local community centre. And the view is that once qualified, hopefully those people will be able to give back to us by volunteering in the kitchen or the coffee station for us. We'd like to also look at doing food handling certificates, cafe skills, perhaps first aid. And these are all skills that are going to be helpful for job seekers, perhaps for young kids or teenagers, maybe people who are new to the country, or have a gap in their resume, perhaps due to child rearing, things like that. But they're also things that relate to roles we need to be filling within the club. So we've got a bit to do to bring everyone on the journey with us, both with regards to those who are wedded to the paper-based system and, pardon me, those who've been burned by it. With regards to future growth, we're yet to properly utilise LinkedIn. Sign Up Genius offers a lot more for us with regards to our automated comms and things like that. We think they're vital systematic changes, though, that need to happen for future proofing. And we also have scope to better or more formally survey our community to find out more about the barriers and expectations. So future ideas also include introducing self-service onboarding webinars on our website, entry and exit interviews for our key positions, increasing the scope of the PD bank, and building on our recruitment processes to ensure transparency and consistency with recruitment decisions across the board. So that's just about us. The very last slide, I can't see if they're coming up, I hope they are. The very last slide is just some images of our wonderful community I wanted to share. We just wanted to share these pics to show, from building a new car park for us pre-season, to painting the structures, to groundskeeping, through to making the salads and the coffees, selling the merch and keeping the score, very important. From our webmaster, our printer and our coaches, we really genuinely value everybody for their generosity in spirit and time. Our volunteers are our life force, and they're our partners in business. It is a business. Sport is a business, and volunteer management is crucial to the ongoing success of our organisation. We're incredibly motivated, we're grateful, and we're looking forward to what we can do next with our volunteers as part of our crew.
Are you too busy running your own business to worry about your financials? Allow J Hill Books to focus on your books so you can focus on your core business. Based in Lara, Geelong, J Hill Books owner, operator and senior bookkeeper Judy Hill has always worked in finance administration. The world of cloud accounting, however, means that clients can be based anywhere within Australia. Currently, J Hill Books services clients from Lara, Geelong, the Bellarine Peninsula and Melbourne. You won't need to come home from working all day and start on paperwork. You can spend your time in other productive areas such as marketing or quoting, or even better, come home and switch off. You will know how your business is tracking as often as you need whether that is on a weekly, monthly or quarterly basis. You can be satisfied that you are meeting your legal requirements to your staff and to the ATO. And deadlines will no longer be stressful for you. Let J Hill Books take the stress out of running a small business and allow you to enjoy watching your business go to the next level. For more information, visit our website at www.jhillbooks.com.au, or better yet, call us on 0402 469 243 or email us at info@jhillbooks.com.au. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and it's an absolute pleasure to introduce the next guest. And his club will be celebrating a major milestone later this month, and it's the 25th anniversary of the Lara United Football Club. And to tell us all about that is their very popular president, Paul Grisbeck, who we welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Paul, good evening, and how are you?
Tons, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Well, first of all, congratulations on the 25th anniversary of Lara United, which you'll be celebrating later this month. But let's talk about the early beginnings of the club. It started way back in 1999. So, 25 years ago, of course. And tell us a bit more about the early origins of the club.
Well, just started off with a group of parents that wanted their kids to play football, the round ball, and they just kicked off with, I believe, an under-9s team is how it kicked off. And I think we still got a couple of those kids around the club. They've actually donated their tops, their original tops, for us to put up on display. And we've decided on the day, we've got a modern version of that being made up. So basically a replica of the original top. And our 3 games on the day, which would be our reserves, our State League men, seniors, and our Division 1 women, will all be having a replica top for the match.
Oh, brilliant. How good is that? Yeah, so it started off as the Lara Soccer Club, and it was part of the Lara Sporting Club in those early days, and played in the local community leagues. And then around about 2016 is when Lara United was reincarnated, if you like, or reborn. How did that come about, becoming a standalone club?
Well, I think the main cause of it was competing interests. Like we had AFL football with Lara Football Club, and the soccer was part of that group. And I suppose at the time, with those competing interests and different people probably in charge at the time, they probably didn't see eye to eye on some of the things, and probably felt that the club was being held back a little bit. And so there was a decision made that we should try and go alone and see what comes of that. And the fruits in what we see now, the club's just exploded since we've separated. We've been our own identity. We can go out and pursue grants and things. We've seen the club rooms come on in the last, probably the original club rooms come on about almost 10 years ago, I suppose, the first section. Mm-hmm. And then we had stage 2 and lighting over the last 3 or 4 years. And the lights were the winner. There's no point building infrastructure if there's no lighting to use it with. And the moment they were turned on, the clubs never look back. The numbers just keep exploding, as it does everywhere in the whole region. I mean, it's football, or the world game is just going nuts everywhere.
Yeah, now if we kind of take a step back and look at that progress, female-friendly change rooms in 2019, 2020. The sport lighting was installed in 2021, thanks to the City of Greater Geelong. In 2022, you received further grants for the full pitch fencing and the new player benches. And a lot of that had to do, apart from City of Greater Geelong, obviously, but a lot of it had to do with the local Bendigo Bank branch as well, who've really, really helped the club, and they've also been heavily involved with North Geelong Warriors, the other Lara-based club. But with regards to your club, the Bendigo Bank has been a huge, huge benefactor, hasn't it?
Look, we do acknowledge City of Greater Geelong. They have put a lot of money in, and there's been a lot of support in growing our club. But all our sponsors really have come on board, and all our sponsors are pretty much all local sponsors, just mum and dad businesses, a lot of them, and they support our club. I think we're up around 20 different businesses now, which is amazing. And the Bendigo Bank, that's just the cream on top of everything. They have been unbelievable, and I'm still wondering why people don't bank more with them. The model is quite simple. It's a bank. It runs like any other bank, and 50% of the profits they make go back to the community in grant funding and stuff. And you can see it everywhere. The Bendigo Bank branding is all over the Lara and district area. It's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can speak from personal experience. It's my local bank, and they do a wonderful job. And unlike a lot of banks, they're open on a Saturday morning for those that need to do over-the-counter service, and it's quite safe and fantastic. And they do a ripper job in the wider Lara community. Now, Paul, you mentioned sponsors. That's such a big part of any club, but the sponsors that have been at Lara United have really been involved for many years. It's not just kind of a one-off thing, a flash in the pan, and they've been around supporting quite a fair bit. Apart from the sponsors, the volunteers as well. That's a big thing as well, and you've really been able to integrate the senior side of things, the junior side of things, the men's, the women's, everything into a real functioning community club. How much of it has been put down to the fact you've got your club rooms and you're able to organise social functions and, after match events and things like that? How much of that has been such a boom for the club as well over the last, 5-6 years?
I would say it's been the main ingredient. The people that we have involved with the club, as all good volunteers, when you have a good bunch that get on, that's definitely a win. But to have somewhere to do it together, which prior to that we didn't. I mean, I sort of always classed our club as a bit of as gypsies in a way for 20 years, where we were just training all over the place. We never really had a central meeting point. The Lara Baseball Club have always helped us over the years to give us somewhere to celebrate functions and that in the early years. And we continue that friendship with them going forward. Even today, we're helping them now in return a little bit. But yeah, it's the club rooms has been it. There's a central point there. It allows everyone to come together. And probably the part I'd like to see grow now for the club would be the parents starting to take like an ownership of the club a bit more. Whereas at the moment, I suppose there's always that feeling with the senior teams are always the heart of the club when they're not really. Our juniors are. It's our largest number of people in the club. And so I'd love to see the parents start to have some bit more get-togethers on the Friday nights of training and things like that. I think that would be the next thing I'd like to see within the club and its people to get together a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Now, Lara, for those that live around the Lara area or know the Lara area well, is expanding at a dramatic rate. There are, I think, 5 or 6 different estates as we speak being developed or having been developed recently. That obviously means a huge influx of people coming into the area and a lot of people wanting to take up the sport of soccer, either for their kids or for themselves. How are you going with managing numbers, the ever-increasing numbers? Are you at capacity or, are you able to continue to grow? And what's the thing that the club probably needs the most at the moment in order to be able to, I guess, facilitate that growth?
Well, like everyone, we're running out of space. That's definitely been it. We're pretty much at capacity now. We have the odd person that comes in late that we could probably squeeze in somewhere in the mini roos and things. So at the moment, we're working with the baseball club. The two clubs are working together to try and get lighting on their baseball fields, and with that will allow us to train our mini roos on the baseball club as part of this agreement we're going forward. And this is why I'm so wrapped that the relationship with them have been so strong for years, helping each other out. If that gets over the line, that will definitely help us grow for the next. Realistically, it won't be a long time, probably maybe 5 years that might buy us before we start struggling again. You're right. The growth it's just phenomenal everywhere, and we haven't got the biggest growth. I mean, the growth in the south is just nuts. It's just off the Richter scale down that way. I don't even know how they do it. So.
Yeah, it is incredible, and it's easy to attract people. I guess it's very hard to retain them, and that's, I guess, the next step in the puzzle is to try to ensure that their experience, their match day experience, their overall training night experience is so positive. And from all accounts, you seem to be doing a great job. Speaking of a positive experience, off air we were talking about the success of the senior men's team and how things are doing really well as we speak. 10 wins, 10 games. Let's keep that going. Erica Lawrence, the head coach, seems to be doing a great job. But Paul, you were telling me how one of the main reasons, or one of the main ingredients, as you say, is the really good mood in the change rooms, and there seems to be a real great off the field camaraderie as well. And that has kind of resulted, I guess, in Lara United becoming a bit of a destination club.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, look, Eric has created a vibe within the club and the boys that it's very inclusive. They socialise a lot together, and I think that's a key ingredient that you don't see with a lot of clubs. You know, it depends. When I was younger, when I was playing, that was happening back in the day, and I can't speak for other clubs. But that is definitely a major element of our club at the moment. It's just the boys are just coming there. People turn up and they just enjoy themselves. I mean, something I didn't mention before, that mini roos, we've actually got people coming down now from Point Cook, Wyndham Vale, Werribee, to put their kids into our club. And the same thing's being said there, is that they're coming to us because they're hearing good things about our club, and they don't find that same warmth when they go to other clubs up in the up in those northern suburbs there. So for us, it's another tick, and that's another reason where our numbers are so crazy. I think we're going to start to attract more from that area as well. But and that's the vibe right through at the moment. Our juniors has probably always been our weakest point in the club in the last few years. We've struggled with numbers. COVID was always, it's still that lingering issue that's a bit of grief for us. But I think in about the next 2 years, we'll probably fill all those availabilities there and teams and stuff. And so once that gets on fire, along with what Eric's creating up top there, the club's just going to be on fire. I think it's just the future for us for the next 5 years.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, speaking, we're not going to now. We'll put the future aside. We'll talk a little bit about the past, in effect, or celebrating the past, and I guess what's happening over the next few weeks. The big 25th anniversary. There it is. It's the 22nd of June, which is a Saturday at Lara Recreation Reserve. You're planning on having an all-day celebration. Tell us a bit about what is going to be going down on the Saturday, 22nd of June.
So on the day, as I mentioned earlier, we've got three. I think we've got a couple of junior games planned. I think they're just locking those times and dates in at the moment.
Yep.
What I do know for sure is we have a reserves, state league reserves on at 1. Our men are on around 3:00, and we've got our Division 1 women on at 5:15. We've invited all our sponsors, our life members, past players. We'll also have on pitch 2, we'll have an area for kids. We're going to have a lot of soccer activities there for them to come down between 1 and 4 and enjoy the day. And beyond that, we just going to celebrate 25 years. I mean, it's been a struggle for a lot of people over many years, and now with us getting our facilities in the last few years, it's just made it all come together and at the right time, I think.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so it's the Ballarat Soccer Club is the opponent. State League 5 clash there. Reserves at 1 p.m, seniors at 3 p.m, and then it's the Geelong Region Division 1 game between Lara and Deakin Ducks. So that kicks off at 5:15 p.m. So an all-day event. It'll be fantastic to see some of the past members, past presidents, past players, even sponsors, etc., coming along. Should be a big crowd. It should be a great day of festivities there at Lara Recreation Reserve. So if you've played with this club, played against this club, or known people that have been involved with this club, do come down on Saturday, the 22nd of June. Paul, in the meantime, wishing you all the very best. I know it's you speak to all the club presidents around town. They're really absolutely, I guess the word is knackered in a good way, because it's been such a busy year, but we're only at the halfway mark of the season. There's still half a season to come.
Yeah, I know, mate. It's and I agree with them all. I think we need a committee buy. So instead of a catch-up round, they should maybe call it a committee rest for the presidents and secretaries and everyone else and treasurers and that, just to have a rest for a week.
You could be onto something, mate. You could be onto something. Paul Grisbeck, the president of the Lara United Football Club, joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks very much, Chauncey. You're awesome, mate. Doing a great job.
Good on you. Thank you. Paul Grisbeck from Lara United Football Club. Yeah, celebrating 25 years. What a great milestone. And particularly the last 5 years, hasn't it been great to see a lot of clubs around Geelong just really, really growing and expanding and their facilities improving. And certainly Lara United Football Club is one of those. And big shout out to Paul's wife, who's also the secretary of Lara United Football Club, Kylie Grisbeck, who during her time at the City of Greater Geelong as a councillor worked very, very hard for those ground improvements, and we are seeing a lot of clubs bearing fruit. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we return, we will. It'll be time to wrap up tonight's show.
Traditional skylights have been around for many years now, brightening up those dark areas around the home or office. And yes, there have been improvements in recent times, but now things have changed for the better and for the safer. Here at Ready Light, we recognise the importance of energy-efficient lighting in our daily lives and aspire to improve every home and business with uncompromising performance and payback. Ready Light, through the Spectra series, has developed a skylight alternative that is energy efficient, easier to install, and much less intrusive to your roof and building structure. During the course of the day, a solar panel converts the sun's rays into electricity, which in turn supplies power to a Ready Light sky fixture. As the sun rises, the light increases toward the middle of the day, then losing its intensity as the sun sets in the afternoon. Gone are the days of cutting large holes in the roof or being restricted due to building frame or upstairs, downstairs installations. No matter what your situation, Ready Light has the flexibility to be installed in almost any location. Installing a Ready Light is a breeze. It has a solar panel mounted on the roof with a cable running down to the light. If you want more than one light, then simply install a larger solar panel. It's that easy.
And that, folks, brings us to the very end of tonight's show. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's Geelong Region Soccer Show. Big thank you to our major sponsor, The Gordon. The Gordon and our business advertisers for tonight, Curva Coaching, Highland Turf Sales, Scotsco Skylights, and J Hill Books. We'll be back next Monday night at 8 p.m. Until then, remember, even though it is King's birthday holiday next Monday, we'll still be coming out Monday night. So no excuse not to take in your weekly dose of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Good night, folks. Bye-bye.